Okay, July 7th of 2024. Whatever they're doing out there, they're also booming, and the house is shaking with the boom of whatever before they just started this knock, 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 which, right? And they started like 8:39, I don't know, something like that. This is my window. I'm by my sink. Okay? Seriously. Stopping and going, stopping and going. We need to go out there and see what the hell they're doing. Now. And the closer you get to it, the louder it gets, right? We know that. Okay, so July 9th, 2025. You can see here what's going on. YouTube back at their antics. Okay, Bailey came in and made a post on my son, the gorilla pimp, that man, right? I made a comment. She came in and gave me a hug, but for whatever reason, YouTube is shadow banning it. But I'm showing you right now. There it is. Then I made a post explaining the process of how bullies operate and who participates and how they participate and who doesn't participate and yada yada. And then because YouTube is shadow banning Bailey's hug, I said even YouTube is hiding your hug of support for me, because bullies don't like people standing up against them and speaking out and being a witness to the bullying and resisting and standing, you know, right? Well, this is the way I see YouTube. They don't stand up against it either. We've seen that with Tamika Johnson, aka Tasty Bonnie, when she was stalking my channel and my house, to which she still does, people, right? When she's in the neighborhood, that is. YouTube didn't give a rat's ass about it. They propped her up before they did anything to help me. Okay? And then Bailey came in and she made another post. It's right here. I can't stand bullies. I was the target of bullies in junior high school, and it's only gotten worse over the years. Sharing genes with a person, oh my gosh. Okay, so anyway, they did not, that post is here. I'll refresh this page. You can see it's on the server. It's on the server. She didn't say anything wrong. Okay. This one is here. There's the hug. But YouTube doesn't want people to support me, so they're going to shadow ban that one. Right along with this one. They shadow banned this one. Where is it? This one. Where she talks about how she's been a target of bullying. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the video. Okay? Right? Where am I? Here I am. Alright, there's the video.
I think it's 7th.
Now we're going to go into comments. If you notice, they're only allowing 3 comments, because they took 2 of her comments away. They took the hug away, because clearly YouTube supports people abusing me and bullying me, because that's what they do, right? And they don't want others to look back at times when maybe they were bullied to, speak out against it. Like Bailey was speaking out against it, but do you see it here? Where is it? It's gone. They didn't allow it to go through. Why? They didn't allow the hugs to go through. Why? Yeah, why? Now, I copied and I pasted it into my description box for this very reason, because you can't trust YouTube as a corporation, especially if they target you for nefarious reasons. Okay? That's somebody else's post. I answered it, put it there, in case it disappeared. There's Bailey's, you can see. Okay? Right? There's her hug. Right there. But YouTube's not showing it. There's my post explaining how bullies operate. Right? There's me saying that YouTube shadow banned her hug. Right? YouTube is hiding your hug of support for me as YouTube continues to bully, target my channel and persons. That's the way I see it. And then, that's that post that they just took away, where she can't stand bullies. She doesn't even have a right to say that. Why? Why? Why can't she speak out against bullies? Okay, so YouTube did it again. There's her original post. I came in and said what I had to say. She came in and gave me hugs, because whatever that man downstairs is doing with that girl, they're doing everything all the time behind my back. And then they say that I don't do things fast enough. Yeah. Okay, we know the story. Right? And then I come in and I explain here how bullies operate, how they manifest, who participates, who doesn't, why they don't, right? Or why they can't. Or if they want to stand up against it, how it's difficult for them to do it. And then, because this post here, with the hug of support for me, for everything that I go through, is being hidden by YouTube, because they don't want other people who come to my channel to support me. That's the way I see it, people. That's exactly the way I see it. YouTube is a form of a bully itself, as a corporation. They promote who they want to promote, and they shadow ban and target, harass, defame, demoralize, right? Character assassination, whatever. They prop up their trolls, whatever. Anything to control the narrative. Okay. And now they're bringing in their AI influencers to kick out even more YouTubers and put them on the curb so that they go broke, can't depend on an income, because the AI influencers are going to have all their traffic, all their comments, yada yada, directed towards them, so that whoever is operating those AI influencers through however they create those videos, which will more than likely be somebody employed by YouTube staff. I do believe that. Because this is the shenanigans that was going on in 2009, and other YouTubers, bigger channels in those days, were talking about the same very issues, to which some of them have been completely removed off of YouTube and are not even allowed on YouTube anymore, because no matter what YouTube tried to do to redirect traffic away from them, and yes, they were successful to redirect the traffic away, but not all of the traffic. And those YouTubers still held a large portion of viewers, and was influencing their opinions through truth bombs, which YouTube didn't like. Okay, we know that they hide my videos on comments on other videos, or they hide my comments on other videos, right? Because, or they will allow one, but they'll take the other one away that gives more detail, because they don't want the public to know the truth when it comes to the things that walk among us that pretend to be human but are not, or how our police agencies are not as ethical and moral as they say they are, because they participate in heinous crimes, right along with the healthcare system, right along with our government workers, right up into the parliament buildings themselves, through covering up of lawsuits and covering up evidence and hiding this and hiding that. That's all these things know how to do, is hide, destroy, demolish, right? Lie, really. Anyway, I pointed it out. Even YouTube is hiding the hug of support, because they don't want people to support anything that is related to me. They've been sabotaging my nonprofit since the very beginning with their copyrights, as they were promoting their nerds that were making their little stupid videos on YouTube back in 2009, whatever it was, 10, right? Redirecting all the traffic there, as they were sabotaging my park event videos with their copyrights, right? Made it to the point where I didn't even want to do park events anymore. And I was operating under 2 federal trademark names and a legitimate registered foundation. How hypocritical is that? And then they wanted all my paperwork for the trademarks and all this other crap, YouTube, whatever, because I was disputing, I was doing this, I was trying to do that. I sent it all to them, and they blew it off like it was nothing, and never did anything. They're sitting on my personal information in my file folder, and all they do is shadow ban, remove comments. You know, you never know when they're going to spring to action one way or another to distract away from truth bombs, however the truth comes out, right? You know, in this situation, we're talking about bullying, right? You know, they promote that, people, because they're aligned with the devil. This corporation really is. I've exposed through other videos that I think they even taken down 1 or 2 of them, where what you're looking at isn't what you thought you were looking at when I took it to exposure, or I brought it up to Zoom and I exposed what was in the background in terms of the subliminal symbols and the subliminal messaging, and with what was his name? I don't remember his name, but anyway, one of those rappers. So anyway, she did it again. She came in and she did it again, and if you look at it, it says 31 minutes ago, but for whatever reason, this one's posting down here, but they removed this post too. So they removed 3 posts from her. They removed this one, where she, acknowledges that bullying, exists, and that it's happened to her, right? And that it gets worse. You see, that's the thing. I think maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's why they took it down, because they don't want people to know that bullying will continue to get worse over the years. And that's what's been happening with my son and his wife. It's not getting better. It's getting fucking worse. They're throwing out even more expensive shit now. They're removing even more expensive shit now. Okay? Like, we're talking $200, $300, $400 per item, okay? Not including my food is disappearing, people. A little here, a little there. They don't think I notice it, but I notice it, okay? As they're lying up in my fucking face, this girl's still acting like a fucking victim. I went downstairs for some reason or another the other day. I knocked on the door. I went inside. And she thought I was going to be Andre, because I never go downstairs, right? Ever. The last time I went downstairs was when the freezer went and they left. And they were gone she was gone for 2 weeks and he was gone for a week. Okay? And I went down there, and Amari had a seizure halfway through that week. So it wasn't like I could even really do anything. Other than that, I haven't been down there for almost a year. All right? I go down there because I hear booming and banging. That's what it was. I hear booming and banging, and I get nervous. My heart stops. Okay? I want to cry. I start to shake. It's literally, they have traumatized me. That man has traumatized me so much that I am beyond understanding what the hell is wrong with him, other than there's something wrong with him. Okay? That's not what I signed up for when I gave birth to him. He was the one that I could depend on almost the most, really. He was. I'm not saying he was perfect. I'm not saying he didn't have his little fucking hissy fits every now and then out in the garage or whatever, because of, life frustrations or whatever. But he was solid as a fucking rock. Not anymore. Not anymore. I can't look to him for nothing. I really can't. And if I do, I'm scared. And I can't depend on it. So what does that tell you? That tells you a lot. Because none of that shit happened until this bully moved into my house, started planting the seed here, planting the seed there, instigating this, instigating that. And you would think after all this time, it would freaking stop. Well, it hasn't stopped. I go downstairs to see what the hell's going on because I'm afraid that they're busting up my shit, moving my shit around, whatever, okay? Because I had, shit was gone out of Shemai's room, right? We talked about that, right? And I got scared, okay? Because they like me scared. You see, that's the thing. They want me fucking scared, eh? Right? They want my life scattered up. They want to ruin my life. That's basically what they want, so that they can take over whatever they fucking want, share it with their fucking friends, share it with that girl's family, because that mother's going to roll up in her fucking car and load it up and drive off, laughing and giggling with her daughter, acting like a fucking bully herself, because we've already got that fucking on camera. The woman didn't even have the decency to talk to me. I'd like my son to go fucking move into her house and treat her husband and her like this girl treats me with my son. Because my son did not act like this until this girl moved in. So we can say that she is the instigator. She is the one that plots and plans and schemes and gets the process going. And she helps along the way because, that's what they do, right? Well, my son is the fucking henchman, okay? He carries out the plan. And he's a bully about it. He's more than a bully. He's a gorilla fucking pimp. It's beyond being a bully now. Okay? Alright. So anyway, she can relate to all that shit, how it gets worse. That's what I'm trying to say. It gets worse over the years. And that's exactly what's been happening. Because more and more of my food is going missing. They're lying about it. They're moving things around. Now they're putting things out wherever that are more expensive. We're looking at $200, $300, $400 per item, as if I can afford to lose that shit or have it get fucking ruined or disappear or whatever. They're coming in with all these excuses. If I'm not moving and doing things fast enough, they're doing it for me because I didn't move fast enough for them, even though they locked me fucking out. When I went downstairs because of that booming and banging, I knocked on the door. I guess she thought Andre was going to come in because they're grooming Andre to choose sides, right? Because, God forbid if Andre wants to stick around and help me and Amari. No, it's more better for them to lock Amari into foster care because they're not going to look after him. Don't ever fucking fool yourself. This girl will not be able to look after him. She doesn't have the patience. She doesn't have the fortitude. She doesn't have the fucking life experiences. And she sure in the hell doesn't have the heart. Okay? And as for my son, he's just, I don't think, right, he's a tree cutter. He's a burly man. Sure, he's got a bit of brains, but he's more brawn than he is fucking brains, especially these days. So you can't expect him to be nurturing for Amari. So where's Amari going to go? Well, he's either going to stay with me and Andre, or he's going to go into foster care. But that's not what they want for Andre. Fuck no. They don't want him helping us. No. They want him groomed so that they can put him to work where they want him to work. Whether it's working with Marcane on his job, or whether it's getting Andre saving his money so that he can partner up and buy a house with them, or whatever. Marina's going to have babies, and because Andre knows how to look after children, oh, come Andre, come watch the kids for us. Andre, come do this for us. Andre. Do you see where we're going? Well, Mom can fuck herself. Okay? Hopefully she'll be dead by then. Because that's what they wish for, people. Because that's how they treat me. Okay? And it's getting worse, not better. I walk in, she's, She didn't expect me. Because I haven't been down there for a fucking year in my own house. Okay? But she was copacetic. She was cool. I seen a bunch of bins open with a bunch of fabric. I got a little paranoid for a minute, thinking, oh, there you go. You guys are booming and banging in Tisha's room, pulling out my fucking bins as she's going through my bins. Because she already goes through my stuff. She's been doing that stuff ever since she moved in. But no, that's her bin. That's her fabric. Because of, mice, right? Right? Because there's a mouse underneath the stove. So, okay, fine, no problem. It's better to get it out of the air anyway. She used to keep all her fabric up in the fucking air. I told her, put them in plastic bags, put them in bins. Get them out of the air. Because the air will eat the fabric. I like it like this. Okay, fine. I never said anything about it again. Now she's saying, oh, and I'm like, yeah. it's best, it preserves the fabric, but better yet, put it in plastic bags, because each fabric has their own smell, and sometimes when you start mixing up fabrics, one fabric will infect the other fabric with their smells, right? So if you can, put them in separate bags and then put them into your bins, and then this way, if the fabric smells, it stays within the bag itself, right? Okay. I'm just saying. Or if one fabric, you know, deteriorates because of the type of fabric that it is, because it's too synthetic and it has a more rubber base that starts to deteriorate, and I don't know. It's just when you can, it's best to put everything into separate bags and then bin it up. Whether you have mice or not, doesn't matter. So anyway, you know, I was polite. I just said I heard booming, which was true, got a little nervous, and I left. But then after that, that's when I found out that more of my shit has been moved. Well, my son is accusing me of having fucking dementia because I don't want to side with him by saying, yeah, you're right, it was my imagination station with those boxes that suddenly disappeared with the jars on top. No, they weren't there. Yes, they were. Because I was concerned about those jars slipping, and 12 quart-sized jars full of liquid and meat or whatever was inside of them on an angle, teetering on boxes that had been stacked up high. Yeah, okay, as if I was going to leave that there for any length of time, but because I was coming downstairs because they were leaving, I thought I'd fucking deal with it, and when I got down there, finally, even after Amari's seizure, I went into the bedroom and they were gone. And that, for some reason, gives my son the right to abuse me verbally. Accuse me of this, accuse me of that, call me this, call me that. And then tell me he's still moving my shit around. And exposing it for what? To be destroyed. Sure. $400, just throw it out in the garbage. Go ahead. And another 300 here, 400 there. Go ahead. And you don't think this shit's not going to come back to you? I tell him, you're cursing your fucking self. Like, literally, you are cursing yourself. Mark my words, guaranteed, you are cursed. Oh, don't say that to me. Well, what else are you doing? Well, all those supporters to the bully are cheering her on as she's playing the victim card. And YouTube doesn't want anybody to side with me as they're deleting comments, even if it's just a single hug. Even if it's just a single hug, or if it's confirmation that, yeah, bullying just gets worse and worse and worse. It does. It does. It doesn't get better. Once these people put it in their bonnet that they want to be fucking bullies, I swear, they don't change. They don't. So now we're going to go on to the video. Same thing with YouTube. YouTube doesn't change. No. Once they write it into the source code, once they write it into the freaking source code, where's the source code? Where is source code? View source code. Once they write it into the source code, that your channel is shadow banned, your comments will be hidden, yada 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 yada. Traffic will be redirected away from your channel, yada 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 yada. However they want to shadow ban you, once it's written into your source code, you might as well kiss your freaking life on YouTube goodbye. Seriously. You will never be successful on YouTube. Unless, of course, you want to completely give your life over to the devil. Yep, that's the way I see it, people. Now, I did put it in here. I had to sneak it in because it came in late. See, there's the hugs that they're not showing. I don't know what she was doing there. I couldn't see it very well, Bailey. But I posted it in here where it's showing on my comments. And then I posted the comment that they don't want other people to see because it's a truth bomb. Bullies, they don't stop. They just get worse. They get more creative. They get more hurtful. They get more vindictive. They get more spiteful. That's what they do. They become more dangerous. Yeah, I think so. Now, here's her comment. But if you notice, there's only 3 posts. Should be more, but there's not. The hugs are gone. They don't allow the hugs because they don't want nobody to support. They want people to do things behind my back. So if they just, they do everything behind my back. Yeah. Well, God forbid if somebody was to give me a hug because that makes me feel bad. Hell no, they just want that, leave that lasting negative impression on somebody that's going to come and read that shit and think that it's okay to go around doing other things behind other people's backs because, obviously you can get away with shit, right? And then there's my description as to what a bully is and who supports them and blah, 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 right? And then here's this one, even YouTube is hiding the hug, right? Do you see the other one? With her talking about bullies getting worse? No. They took it away. And do you see that other one where whatever she did there with some sort of, I don't know what those things are called. This one, do you see this one there? No, it's gone. Never posted it. It's in my comments though, where I can see it. But they hid it. Do you see this one? No. No. Because YouTube promotes bullies. That's what they do. That's what they've been doing. I stand my ground with YouTube. It's been too painful, too long and daunting and pointless. A lot of mind games, a lot of hurt with YouTube and their antics, with their trolls. Yep. Psychological warfare with their GMOI. Back in those days, I do believe that was connected to YouTube and their staff. Yeah. Because they were doing a psychological warfare assessment before they took away the thumbs down. And then when the politicians came on board and started YouTube channels for themselves, as they were like the parliament, like the various different parliaments within the states and Canada, where you could go to the that particular parliament building within that particular state or province in the Canada, and you could watch the debates or the discussions between the politicians. And because people were coming in with a lot of thumbs down, especially with the BC Liberal government back in the day, what did YouTube do to hide the truth? They took away the thumbs down where you can't see it anymore. Yeah. Or no, it was in 2020 when the lockdowns came. That's when they took the thumbs down away, because people were fighting back about the lockdowns and the restrictions and all this other crap. And they were coming in with their thousands of thumbs down at one time, right? So New Democrat Party of British Columbia, Canada, with Dr. God, Dr. Death, aka Bonnie Henry, talking about be kind to each other and how you gotta be 6 feet apart and wear this and do that and can't do this and you're gonna get into trouble if you do that and blah and blah and blah. Well, people were coming in 3,000 deep with their thumbs down with a measly 200 thumbs up, and in those days it was showing. Because I went through it, people, with when they took Uncle John with that psychological assessment with YouTube, to see how I would react to 25 of those compared to one, as I was being beat up for the medical kidnapping of Uncle John because I was fighting for Uncle John, and they didn't want me fighting for Uncle John because these bastards like to steal old people's money. They like to steal old people's houses, right? You know what I'm saying? So that they can prop up themselves, give it to their robotoids, classify them as a human being so that they can justify the payment to some account that ends up being a ghost account at the taxpayer's expense as they commit more and more and more and more and more freaking crimes one way or another. Anyway, those thumbs were coming in 3,000 deep down on the NDP with in 2020, 2021, and what did YouTube do? They made it where you can't see thumbs down no more because they had to protect the politicians' feelings, and they didn't want those thumbs downs to interfere with the public perception of what those crooked fucking politicians were doing all across the freaking continent. Okay. Taking down my videos. They were taking down my videos, people, as I was talking about this, that, and everything. But now go on YouTube and you're watching all kinds of videos talking about, oh, VACCINE. Oh, yeah, I don't even want to say it, because if I say it just one word in my video, next thing you know, YouTube's coming in and they're taking my fucking video down. But not other people. And now that it's been called out and pulled basically off the freaking market with this study and that study and lawsuit here, lawsuit there, da-da-da. You know, what can YouTube do about it? They're just acting like they weren't an active participant in the bully behavior of millions of people on their freaking website. Yeah, as they continue to bully me. By shadow banning, maybe it's not, those little comments are not important to them, but they're important to me, okay? Because my life is going down the fucking toilet because of some woman that moved into my house that is a straight up fucking bully and got her family siding behind her, laughing and thinking it's fucking funny, and it's not fucking funny. Well, we've got one person here saying, yeah, it gets worse. Yeah, no kidding, it does get worse. But YouTube doesn't want you to know it gets worse, and that's why they took Bailey's comment away. Wasn't to protect me. It wasn't to protect the YouTube community. It was to set them up for fucking failure for the ones that they want to target themselves. That's the way I interpret it, people. Okay, so before I upload this video, why don't we just read the workings of Bullies? Where is it? It's right there. Okay, now, obviously I'm going to talk what's relevant to me and what affects me and my family, my 2 grandkids and myself. Okay? Because whatever's going on downstairs, I wouldn't consider to be family. I wouldn't. It's very unhealthy. All right? And very abusive on the receiving end of that abuse. All right. That girl instigates it as she is the bully. So whatever goes on behind my back, she's the one that instigates it first, because none of that shit was going on until she moved in. And if you notice, it doesn't stop. It's like PMS, right? Like a period. It pops up regularly. Right? It doesn't have to be monthly, but it pops up. Anyway, okay? So the person who plans and or starts the bullying and takes an active part. Okay, that can be extended to, they don't necessarily have to be right up in front leading the pack. Okay, being the first horse forward with their sword drawn. They could just put the call out, instigate everybody, geek them up, let them run forward like the henchman, let the henchman run forward, do the charge, do the dirty deeds, as the bully who instigated stand backs and just kind of monitors it and watches it, and, you know, it provokes where it needs to go, and just, or they will actively participate. Either or. It comes from them. They're the ones that plan it. They're the ones who start it, okay? The actual bully, right? But they can't do it by themselves. They have to do their little recruitment. So the first thing they do is they recruit their henchmen. That's what my son is. He's a henchman. He doesn't realize it. He thinks he's doing what he wants. She's playing into what, you know, she's very good at manipulating my son. Playing into his emotions and his inadequacies and his shortcomings and his oh, woe is me, it's all my mother's fault, and she's the problem, and yeah, you're right, baby, she's the problem. If you'd have more space, it would be better for us, and just get rid of the problem, you know, this is how you do it, I'll help you, right, blah, blah. Like I said, I didn't have this problem until this girl moved in, okay? And I've seen people like this before. It's just, I can't kick her out. It's impossible, because if I do, it's going to be, I don't know what it would take to, it would be, she's a drama, she'd want the drama right to the bitter fucking end with my son. And before they'd go down, before they would leave quietly, I think they would go down trying to cause as much damage as they possibly could to hurt me even more. And if not destroy me completely, because they're on that mission anyway. So, you know, all right, okay. And I have no reason to say what I say other than the way I interpret it, what I'm experiencing, what I've gone through, what I'm facing right now, what I'm having to face in the future, what I can, right? Okay. Anyway, that man who calls himself my son, that's what he does. He calls himself my son, so therefore he's entitled to do what the fuck he wants. Whatever he wants to do. Because he's my son. He's appointed himself my master, my lord, my executioner, my judge, my jailer, because he's my son. He can do whatever he wants with me, however he wants to do it, because he's my son. He can abuse me, he can call me names, he can threaten me, he can take my stuff, he can ruin my stuff, he can do whatever he wants because he's my son, right? Okay. Is the henchman. A bully can't do what they do unless they have the henchman. So he's the brawn. He's the one that can pick things up and move things around for her at the snap of a finger. Right? You know what I'm saying? She'll pick up a little bucket where he'll pick up 30. Do you see where we're going on that one? He's the brawn. She's the brains. He's the brawn. He thinks he's the brains. He thinks he's in charge. Perhaps he is, to one degree or another, for his hate for his mother, because I didn't buy a house and he can't inherit $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $1 million from me. So therefore he resents me, right? Because I took time with my community. I tried to do things in a different kind of way that apparently don't measure up to in the real world when you're a ruthless butthead who just wants to go around destroying things so that you can get wealthy. And there's a lot of people out there that do that shit, and for whatever reason my sons thought that I should have been that way, and because I wasn't that way, somehow I'm unworthy of his respect. All right, so either or, he's the henchman. He's the one that picks up the 30 buckets while she picks up the one. I'm just using that, boxes, whatever you want, whatever, okay? Throw everything out. She threw out the blender while he cleaned out the kitchen and the living room and threw out everything else for her, right? That's what I mean by a henchman, okay? Takes an active part, but does not plan or start the bullying. He didn't start it, people. She started it, okay? Their supporters are the girl's parents only because they laugh and they think it's fucking funny as they're rolling up into my fucking driveway, loading up their vehicle with my shit, and then walking off laughing, being disrespectful towards me, and rewarding their daughter for doing what she does. Right? As more of my shit's going missing. And it extends to their friends and the siblings. Okay? God doesn't like ugly. That was a God moment when I caught them out there fucking loading up my shit. Where do you think all my casters went, people? $25 a fucking caster. I had a big bag of freaking casters sitting up in that dresser that got put in the garage first time around, right? And it just, whatever, sat there. Never had a chance to do anything because I'm always running around trying to rescue this and rescue that. Finally, they broke the fucking dresser. Where did all my curtain hooks go to? Do you know how expensive curtain hooks are? And the little wheelie things that hook, you know, you put them in the rod, then you hook them into the wheelie. You take the hook and you hook it into the wheelie things, and the wheelie things go up and down across the rod. I had a whole freaking container full. You think they just threw those in the damn garbage? Fuck no. Just as that thing was being emptied out and busted up, that woman drove up with her fucking vehicle. Didn't even have the decency to talk to me for 5 fucking minutes. Instead, just started giggling and walked off with her daughter laughing. And then we wonder why I'm having nightmares, as they're sitting at a sewing machine conspiring against me, telling me to get out of my own house. Okay? Takes an active part, but does not plan or start the bullying. Their supporters are the girl's parents, siblings, and friends. Active supporters cheer the bullying on. That's exactly what the mother was doing. She was cheering on the bullying, laughing and condoning it, and thought it was fucking funny. Yeah, walked off and insulted me. Yeah, as she was loading up her vehicle with my shit, giving my casters probably to her husband so that he could put them on the bottom of a piece of plywood and have himself a freaking dolly, as she was using my hooks to hang up fucking curtains in a brand new house that she bought for herself because they sold their fucking house with 5 bedrooms in it because all their kids moved out. Yeah, one of them moved into my house, or 4 kids or whatever kids they had, 4. One of them moved into my house. And as soon as she was gone, you couldn't sell your house fucking fast enough. Why didn't you give them some money to go buy their own little house? But no, you had to be with your cheap ass coming into my house, stealing my fucking casters and my freaking curtain rods, curtain hooks, and whatever else was in that dresser, and whatever else was loaded up in that vehicle, because I'll never know. I'll never know the full extent to it, as you're laughing and humiliating me, telling her to go get more. Okay? Okay? Because that's what they do. Their supporters are the girl's parents, siblings, and friends. Active supporters cheer on the bully and or seek social. If you notice, they're all together, birds of a feather. They seek that social acceptance to do what they do. It's normal for them to do what they do. It's okay what they do, because I'm the one with the problem. I'm the one that deserves to have my stuff robbed from me, because this is theft, people, or material gain. So if they're not looking for social acceptance between themselves so that none of them have to feel guilty for what they fucking do, sorry, boo-boo-doo, they're looking for that material gain. All right. Passive supporters enjoy the bullying. The viewers on YouTube, Tamika Johnson, that comes in with her thumbs down. She's a passive supporter. Someone that maybe from the Gill family, that business as usual, you know, kick them out on the streets, raise the rent by 3 times, and then start all over again. And when you're done with those tenants, kick them out as fast as you could get Judy out of the house and start all over with your 3rd fucking tenant. Because at the end of the day, right, they're not going to stand up against anything that's corrupt. So passive supporters, the thumbs down, the Tamika Johnsons that come in and support or whatever, enjoy the bullying, but do not show open support. So they enjoy watching it, they enjoy hearing it, they might even encourage it, you know, in a roundabout kind of way without realizing they're doing it, but they don't openly support it because they know it's wrong. That's why, people, because they know it's wrong. All right. Disengaged onlookers. That would be Tisha. Observed. None of their business. Kind of Tisha's. She doesn't want to get involved. She's finding excuses, right? She says, well, you might as well get used to it because I'm not looking after you. You only got Marcane left to look after you. And I'm like, hell no. How do you think I approached Rhea? Why do you think I approached Rhea? And what did Rhea do? She turned around and she did a smash and grab on me. Because she's no different than a large part of this population where 70% of people on this planet steal for one reason or another. Okay? Disengage. Onlookers. Observe. None of their business. Turn away. That's what they do. Yep. That's what Tisha does. She turns away. Because she doesn't want to argue. She doesn't want to take responsibility. Nothing. She doesn't care what happens to me or Amari. She's just assuming that Marcane will be a loving son to me and a loving son uncle to Amari, and everything will be fine. And then she can go to sleep at night and not worry. Okay? Potential witnesses. All right? Like Andre. Okay? Andre is a witness. If Andre has stood up to Uncle Marcane when Marcane is had his hissy fits, did whatever, and the only thing that Marcaine did was get loud, boisterous, and threatening, and told Andre to F off, and that Andre could go live under a tree if Andre didn't want to listen to him. So Andre learned very young, very quickly, that he really can't stand up to his uncle because his uncle will abandon him, basically. And that's the honest-to-God truth. If you don't do what I say, don't expect me to be there for you, boy. Okay? That's the messaging Andre's been getting, even though his sick, blind mother, well, I'm not really sick, but I'm kind of sick, right, is still housing my brute-ass freaking that man who likes to call himself my son in my house. And he's 34 years old. Go without a mother from the age of 19 years old and then come fucking talk to me when you're 34. But as it is, you're sitting at home at 34 years old with your mother still cradling you, still protecting you from the outside world. And if all you can do is equate it with cheap rent and a fucking playground where you can go downstairs with your plaything and play with my stuff, ruin my stuff, destroy my stuff, sell my stuff, give my stuff away. I don't know what the fuck you do with my stuff. It's beyond even reasoning anymore. All I know is Andre was a potential witness to whom they are grooming one way or another to turn against me so that they can be in control of not only him and his future. Work, save money, give us the money, we'll buy a house, and you'll have a place to live, but only if you follow our rules, because if you don't, we're kicking you out. We can't give you back the money because it's invested in the house, so you better behave. Oh, we need a babysitter. Andre's well experienced. He only looked after Amari until Amari finally went into fucking foster care, right? So we know Andre. We know Andre can free child care. Let's just put it that way, from baby on. Because don't forget, we got Amari when he was 7 months old. All right, okay. And also Andre has been helping with Alea May and Kyrie since they've been born. So the minute Marina pops out a baby, who do you think they're going to call? They're going to call Andre. That's what they're going to do. As they beat me up for having Andre help me with Amari. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. Like Andre or maybe Tisha opposed the bullying. No, they ought to help, but do not act or cannot act like Andre's case. Because if he acts and he says something and he hollers at Marcaine, it comes back at him 10 times worse. Okay? And Andre runs away. Yeah. Do as I say, not as I do. That's Marcaine's motto. Okay? Resistor, defender, witness, actively resists, stand up to the bullying, speaks out against the bullying. Andre has tried that. It doesn't work. It backfires. All he does is get criticized, threatened, told that he's not going to have nobody there for him when he's 19. He can live under a tree. He can go F himself. Whatever. Whatever works to shut him up. Okay? And then he comes back groveling with his tail between his legs as they feed him so that they can smooth over the fact of what they've done to me and continue to do to me and my grandkids. Psychologically. Okay? If Andre speaks out, he gets ignored or insulted. And if you want to say, when you turn 19, you're going to live under a tree, you're on your own, that's a threat. Okay? Because for my son to say, I'm sorry, for that man to say that to a boy where his world is being torn apart by a raging man and some, I don't know what she is downstairs, okay? And he tries to stand up and protect his nana and say something, okay? And my son turns around and insults him, calls him names, because he's done this in the past, okay? And then say, that's it. I ain't gonna be there for you. You can live under a tree. You're on your own. Blah, blah, blah. That is a direct fucking threat. Okay. So, Andre's being taught that he can't stand up for me. And if he does, he has to sneak around like when that bin came. What was he doing? As Marcane was throwing shit out, Andre was sneaking in there and bringing it in the house for me if I wasn't sneaking in there, bringing it in the house for myself. Okay, that's what my son and his wife have brought to this house the minute that girl moved into this house. Because ultimately, she's the one that started the process. Because my son was never, ever like that. We have told Marcane, we want the old, happy Marcane back. Sure, you were a slob, but at least you were happy. You weren't perfect, okay? No, nobody's perfect, but at least you were a happier human being who actually cared. Unlike, I don't know what the hell is going on now. It's all about money. Making money. If it's no money, it's no value. Throw it away. Amari, my son, that man, you stop using Amari as an excuse. You can't use Amari as an excuse why you didn't come downstairs fast enough. Well, yeah, actually I can. Because if I'm planning to come down tomorrow and Amari has a seizure the night before, what the hell do you think's gonna happen? Or what? Or he's got a poo, or whatever, or he's got appointments, or whatever. As you're going around scattering my shit from one end to the other end, and I have to go behind you and clean up after you constantly, trying to organize shit, save shit, find new places for shit, as you're still making mess. I haven't finished even cleaning up the one mess you made. You made it where I can't go downstairs. My food's now fucking disappearing. You're throwing out even more expensive shit. Oh, or whatever you're doing. You're moving it around. Don't even know where it is. Like, it's bullshit, people. And it's not simple. Our government has made it to the point where we're trapped in a living hell in our own houses until we become homeless. Basically, so they can finish us off and then capitalize off of our body as the body snatchers move in.